3 right 40, turn 5 right. Just turn 5 right into long 2 left 80. Right 50. 1 left 50.
After service, it's a repeat of the first loop of stages, and Kenny McKinstry and Noel Orr once again lead us into the Newry Motorworks Ross Trevor stage. The pair extending their advantage to 47 seconds now at the halfway point in the event.
3 left and a 2 left, 100.
Kenny, how was the second loop for you?
Yeah, that was very good. I think we were fastest in the first one the second time round. And hopefully we had a good run in there. We were 7 or 8 faster than the first time, so very good.
Got to be happy with that.
It's a great stage, like, I mean, how could you not be?
After some cuts were made in the tyres for the second loop, Colin Britton was able to cope a little better with the muddy conditions, jumping up the results now to second overall and leading Group N. Slightly slower over the second pass of these stages didn't help Conor McCluskey's advance on second place. Now only 3 seconds separates him from that runners-up spot. The fight would continue into the afternoon stages. Pat O'Connell briefly moves up into second place on stage 3, but it all came to an end when he left the road on the McKinstry Motorsport Tullymore stage and couldn't get back on the road. A disappointing end to a day that started so well for the newly crowned National Forest champion. Pat O'Connell's retirement and a clean run through the stages helped Stuart Biggerstaff move up a place into 4th. Still looking good for those championship points, although an earlier concern with smoke from the Subaru appears to be getting worse as the day goes on.
A bit slow in the first one, a bit cautious, but that one there had a good cut at it and it was enjoyable. No problems this time round.
Settling in a little more and posting some good times moves Raymond Mason and Peter Martin up to 5th going into the halfway service. And it seemed Mason wasn't the only one posting good times and moving up the results as Cyril Doherty gains 3 places to move him and co-driver Vinnie Boyd up to 6th place. No dramas this time round for Trevor Ferguson and David McElroy in the ProDrive built in Prezza. They move up 3 places into 7th.
100. Good man. 2 right tightens. Repeat, 2 right tightens and 1 left. 60. 5 right, 40, 5 left, don't cut. 100. Past lane into hairpin left plus long. 80. Caution 1 right.
Liam Regan and Billy McCullens move up into the top 10 now on their first visit to these stages in their Mitsubishi Evo based Peugeot 206, 8th place going into service.
40. 3 right, logs outside, into 3 left, 60 up middle, 2 left over crest, 60, caution 1 right into 5 left, plus sudden 4 right, repeat sudden 4 right, 60, 1 left, into 4 left, into dip, 60, 4 left, 4 right, repeat 4 left, 4 right.
Still the leading 2-wheel drive crew, Oren Donnelly and Paul Hughes, move back up the results following their problems on stage 2. Now up in 9th place and in the lead of Class 6. The pair have already wrapped up the win in Class 6 in the Northern Ireland Championship, with a number of class wins on previous rounds.
At the bottom, and right okay, 30 down to 1 right okay, down to 1 right, sudden, turn on the tar, sudden square left, tight 8, 20, crest, remember the 2 right, 2, 60, line, late 2 left. bump. Titans, late 2, Titans over bump. 30, late 1 right over bridge. Oh, steady, good lad. 30, 3 left, keep in, and 30 again.
Getting back into the flow now, Patsy Keenan moves up a few places into 10th, still chasing down those Group N points. Well, Patsy, this mile must say a lot.
Yeah, I think we drove better on the last 2 stages and felt the car was working much better. Jerry made some adjustments at surface and more user-friendly, and Martin and I were getting on very good in the car there the last 2 stages, so enjoyed them. So that's the main thing. Thanks.
As we reach the halfway point in the event, this is how the classes we haven't looked at yet are shaping up. Johnny Leonard and Jackie Donaldson start the day with a healthy lead over their Class 1 rivals on the Ross Trevor stage, but suffered a setback on stage 2 when they slid wide and hit a tree. Thankfully, not much damage, and they held the class lead for the next few stages. Second place after stage 1 were Philip Ewart and Scott McMahon, but they would retire the Fiesta on the next stage, handing second place to Barry Savage and Paul Killen in the Astra. Opening up an early lead in Class 3 were Gareth Sayers and Gareth Gilchrist in the Nova, a fantastic drive that sees the pair in 11th overall in the event by the end of stage 4. But Niall Donnelly and Eamon Gallagher in the rear-wheel drive Fiesta were closing in on the class leaders, themselves moving up to 15th overall in the event at that stage. While third place in Class 3 after 4 stages were Emmett Cronin and Paul O'Donovan in their Escort. Paddy McToll and Conor O'Lone take an early lead in Class 4 and maintain that advantage up to stage 3, but it would all end on stage 4 when the Escort pair retired. Other retirements in the class in the first 2 stages included Mervyn Galbraith and Anna McGuigan in the Nova, and we also lose Conor Lavery and Niall Traynor in the Peugeot 205, leaving just 2 crews in Class 4. John and Gavin Devlin taking the class lead to begin with, but would drop down to second when the suspension on the Sunbeam broke mid-stage, forcing them to limp through the remaining stage to get it to service for repairs. This means that Tom Murphy and Colin Moynihan pick up the class lead going into the midway service. In Class 5 it would be Matt Shinners and Catherine Levis that start the day in the lead, but they drop a few places back to third on stage 2 and eventually retire in stage 4. Second place after stage 2 were Barry Greer and Suzanne Wright, but sadly they would also retire before the halfway point in the event. Leading the class though, and still going well, were Robert Irwin and Jimmy Graham in the Toyota Corolla. Moving up to take second on stage 3 following Greer's retirement was Nigel Simpson, but he would suffer his own retirement, the car breaking a drive shaft in the loose gravel on this hairpin in stage 4. This means that Ian Duff moves up to take second place now in the Proton. And Ashley and William Rutledge take the third spot in Class 5 going into the second half of the day. Ian Downey and Tommy Cudahy round off the class in fourth place, but would retire after service with a broken drive shaft. Class 6 was being led by the two-wheel drive crew of Oren Donnelly and Paul Hughes, who had moved into the top 10 now.
Only 30 a kit left. Only... Good lad, handbrake. 80. Bump. Into 4 left.
Fergal MacDonald and Damien McDermott do a good job of gaining a few places in the overall results, but are unable to advance on second place in the class at this stage. And holding third in Class 6 were Niall Braniff and Ita Doonan. With early Class 7 leader Frank Kelly excluded, it means Michael Conlon and Damien McCabe take over the top spot from Stage 2, closing in on the top 10 overall in the process.
So far so good to the fella. A wee bit of a problem, we've a charging late on in the dash here, we're a bit concerned about it, but hopefully we get back to service, we'll get it sorted.
Andy McGee and Jonathan Charleston currently lie second in Class 7 and round off the only remaining crews in the class. With only one crew in the historic class, it would be a drive to the finish for Andy Johnson and Jim McSherry in the Chevette. But that wouldn't be without dramas. Leaving the road on Stage 2 briefly and damaging a wheel in the process, the crew opted to take it a little easier for the rest of the morning.